and we do need to care about who is regulating the funds for the education of our children. We need to care about who is going to be the chief of police.
I want to ask you about the LA City Councilwoman, Nuri Martinez. Did you hear about that? That she resigned?
Yeah. The fool, the clown. All of them. There's a bunch of them. It wasn't just her.
Right. But there's still one guy on there that,
Kevin.
yeah,
He won't leave.
He won't leave, but it's like, yeah, he's really bold. And I want to ask you about response, about reparations from the Latino community, just like what the proper response you think should be from the Latino community when it comes to Black people getting reparations.
Well, that's none of our business. We're not supposed to be commenting on whether Black American people. I believe in reparations. I'm pro reparations. Also, if you want to get technical with it, so Puerto Rico aside, because Puerto Rico is a American territory. So the slaves that belong to the slavery that took place in Puerto Rico was considered American slavery, right? That being said, Spain owes Puerto Rico, the Dominican Republic, and Cuba reparations. France owes Haiti reparations. Like, the thing is, we don't have to dig in the American slavery bucket, because what that does is absolve a whole bunch of other nations that have enslaved people and made a lot of profit off of the wages. I mean, the work and the hardships of a lot of people globally that have nothing to do with American slavery. American slavery is a very specific slavery that went on for a very long time, and it wasn't glamorized. Like, you see Puerto Rican people and Jamaican people and Dominican people with their flags, even though I think that's the worst thing that ever happened to us. And I'm very well aware of that some of those flags were flags that were created by the people who were the revolutionaries fighting for freedom. But the Puerto Rican flag, that flag is not even the flag that you see in the mainstream. It's the flag that the American people say, no, this is y'all flag. So I think that when it comes to reparations, I think that why wouldn't you want to give people back or give people the money that was so many lives, so much work, so much went into building these structures in the United States of America. So much is built on the backs. The wealth that a lot of these people have is built on the backs of slaves. Why would I be against reparations? Like, for me, even if you try to, like, I hear people trying to rationalize them, and they'll say, well, what they're going to do if they give Black people all this money now? Why would you even, what I just don't understand. Like, why would you be opposed to doing the right thing? And when it comes to me as a Puerto Rican Dominican, I feel like we should all be advocating for reparations. The Dutch owe people money, like France, what they've done to Haiti, the horrendous acts against Haiti, because Haiti kicked down the door for slavery, and they continue to pay for it every day. Like, why would you be against that? Like, I just don't understand that mentality. It gets on my nerves. And I know that when it comes to the politicians, it's a political play. It ain't a humanitarian play. It's well, if they get this money, then that's why I don't mess with none of them. But what I'm saying is, I don't understand why anybody would be against reparations. I just feel like you should just sit down.
Okay. So as we close out, you live in LA now, and I wanted to get your thoughts on, the LA City Council just recently went through a whole scandal situation that led to the resignation of a Latina councilwoman, Nuri Martinez, after it was revealed that she not only was making negative remarks about a Black kid, but that she was also talking negatively about Oaxacans.
Yeah, the indigenous communities. Right back to where we started, right? That whole anti. What's funny? Puerto Rico is the island of Puerto Rico was called Borinquen, right? That's why we say Boricua, which that was the name of the island. That was the indigenous name, right? There's a movement there now where they say the white Puerto Ricans, they Puerto Rican, but they're not Boricuas because they have Spanish blood. There's this like people saying, and although I know some Puerto Ricans who are white Puerto Ricans that are revolutionary to their souls and are fighting for all the Puerto Ricans, the black ones included, that's what happens with this division. People start pushing back and saying, I don't want nothing to do with none of these people, right? The reality of it is that that was gross, but it was so necessary to see that, because we caught them. Can you imagine it, nationally how many of these people are having conversations about indigenous and black people? Because we know there's a sentiment about it when black and brown women and indigenous women go missing at numbers, and you don't hear about it in the media. Nobody cares about them. You know how many Native women have died and disappeared, and you never hear about it. So obviously it's embedded in the culture. So I think it was necessary to happen so that it could create some awareness. But more importantly, for those people who say don't vote, it is important to vote, especially locally and regionally, because somebody put that lady in office. Yeah, because voting is important nationally and regionally. And even though a lot of people are like, we're not voting because Joe Biden ain't doing nothing for people of color. The truth is that the DA that was in Florida during the George Zimmerman case, Trayvon, got voted out. Just like this woman got voted in. And we do need to care about who is regulating the funds for the education of our children. We need to care about who is going to be the chief of police. We need to care about where the money, our tax dollars are going in terms, and where they're really going. Like, it's important to care about your immediate community, because those are the people that when you don't vote, the other people who think of you as less than, vote those people in. And that is a big problem, I was like grossed out, but I wasn't surprised. They're feeding this. There's a big agenda in Los Angeles to fuel hatred between Mexicans, specifically Central Americans and Black people. It's very profitable. A lot of them are in jail. It goes all the way into the jails where you hear how segregated everybody is. Right. It's very profitable off of our children who don't have the benefit of an education because the conditions are so poor, and they go out into the streets and try to figure it out. Not to create excuses for crime, but the reality of it is it's rooted in something. And I just think that when you think about that, it's like, it just reminded me, like, that just fuels the fire.